I'm makeup artist Justin Time. Welcome back to Make Up Your Mind TV. In this video, I'd like to talk about one of my new absolute favorite concealers, the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealing Pot. Now, I'm sure you're already familiar with IT Cosmetics. They were developed by plastic surgeons to give immense, beautiful coverage, just flawless coverage to every skin type and tone while addressing whatever concerns lie underneath the skin surface. Superior line, the CC cream, is fantastic. I'm sure you've already tried it. And I'm sure you've also already tried their other Bye Bye Under Eye. It's a long-wear waterproof formula that's kind of amazing. But my personal favorite is this creamy little baby right here, the Bye Bye Under Eye Concealing Pot. Now, not only is this a wonderful, creamy, full coverage concealer, but it also works with a little bit of a treatment. It has hydrolyzed collagen and peptides in it to help smooth the skin surface, hyaluronic acid, which works to deliver over 1,000 times the weight of every single drop of moisture that's in the product to the skin and helping it to retain. It also has antioxidants for nutrition benefits, as well as caffeine and green tea extract, which literally work to wake up the skin. All of these ingredients together, they are going to work to rejuvenate, awaken, brighten, really just give you a beautiful complexion, a very luminous, hydrated complexion to the under eye area. So what we're going to do is apply a little bit. I like the shade medium tan for myself. I like my concealer just a little bit darker than my skin tone in order to combat any under eye, the kind of greens and purples and everything else we have going on with these tire tracks. I already have a little bit of makeup on, I feel like I have to tell you. So, using this totally awesome double-sided IT Cosmetics brush. I can also tell you I was never into double-sided brushes until IT Cosmetics, but they definitely changed the school for me. So we're just going to scrape out a little bit. This is also my personal concealer for anybody that was worried about sanitation concerns. This is what I use every day. So it's just my germs and it's clean anyway. I'm going to show you how to apply this in two different ways. The first will just be basically we're going to heat it up a little bit on the back of my hand and apply with a brush. Since I already have a little bit of makeup on, we're not going to do too heavy. And you see it really just blends right in. It's beautiful. And so you can see the coverage. We'll bring it down onto my nose too, just so you can really understand how beautiful this is. And I, of course, always like to bring it up inside. I find that we carry a lot of our darkness in the interior of the eye. Look at the difference. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. Now we're going to put it on with a beauty blender next. So let's just scrape out a little more product. Little sanitary Evian water. When you're working with a beauty blender, it's always really important to use a sanitary water. I prefer to use the Evian water just because, it's very, very clean, it's fresh, there's nothing that comes in between it. Don't ever use a beauty blender with like a faucet water or anything like that. You don't want any kind of bacteria to transfer. Oh, whew. Caught it. So, taking our beauty blender, just gonna load it up a little bit and kind of use a stippling. Now, when you stipple a product, basically, it's just like the term when used in art. You're just making a lot of small compression dots all the way around. Stippling gives you a more full coverage than a brush does. I would equate the coverage with stippling to using your fingers. We can see this eye is definitely a lot more covered. So, depending on what kind of the day you're having, what the tire track situation is underneath the eye, a brush or a sponge can be used. And like I said, the sponge pretty much gives you the same kind of coverage you would have when you're using a finger. It's always going to be a bit more of a full coverage. But either way, even with this sheared out and a bit of a full coverage, you can see that it takes care of all the under eye needs at once. And the eye looks totally luminous, it looks totally healthy, very, very supple, very, very hydrated. It's kind of the perfect concealer. Now, a question I get asked a lot as a makeup artist is that, do I need to set my concealer with powder? My answer is it always depends on what you're doing. Now, if I am following a client like on a press junket or something like that, where there's going to be lots of facial movements, there's going to be touch-ups and stuff like that, generally no, I wouldn't set my concealer with a powder just because I want it to stay as fluid as possible, just so I can keep going in, blending, touching up and everything, and not having to worry about any kind of coagulation happening between the product and a powder if I have to keep going in back and forth. Now, if it's a day where, the makeup definitely has to last a while, a wedding, any kind of event like that, then yeah, definitely set it. As far as baking versus brush setting, it really depends on the kind of coverage and what kind of wear you want. If you don't know what baking is, it's, a centuries-old theater trick where you would take a loose powder on a sponge, pat it all on here as soon as the concealer's on, and just let the two sit there and use your skin and the body's natural heat to kind of bake the two together. It really gives it a really nice long-wearing formula. It can look heavy, and when I say can look heavy, it always looks heavy. So if you're not a person that wants to look like you're wearing makeup, baking's probably not for you. You can always just take a little bit of a loose powder on a very loosely packed powder brush, dust a little bit under the eye just to set it. It's going to make it long wear, even with just a little bit of a dusting. And, a lot of people are very anti-powder, and they also don't understand why their makeup doesn't stay. And I always show them an example where I draw 2 lines on the back of my hand with a lip liner or an eyeliner, and I set one with powder and one that doesn't. The one without, just instantly, it's all gross and like all over the place and everything, and it'd be all over your phone and stuff like that. Whereas the one when you set with powder, it lasts a lot longer, and it's actually difficult to get it to move. So, if you need it to last, set it with a powder. If you need it to really last, you can bake it with a powder. But if you're somebody that's going to be able to look at yourself a little bit and give yourself touch-ups, and if you're not so concerned about the full coverage staying all day long, you don't really need to set it with this. It's a very superior concealer in that it stays, it doesn't crease, it doesn't crack, it stays very luminous. You can see here it hasn't settled in any of my lines. These are my lines. They're here all the time. It's not because of the concealer or anything like that. People that say, I can see my lines, they're always there. They were there before I got there. They were there when I leave, Anyway, well, I hope you've enjoyed this video about the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer Pot. It's one of my absolute favorites. I have all the colors in my kit now. I can't wait to see what else IT Cosmetics comes out in this series. I would put it all over everywhere. It's such a beautiful full coverage makeup that's completely blendable because it's so creamy. It's a superior product. I highly recommend it. IT Cosmetics is available at Sephora, Ulta, at itcosmetics.com. Definitely try to check them out. I hope you've enjoyed this video about the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer Pot. If you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. You can follow Make Up Your Mind on Instagram at MakeUpYourMindTV, or you can follow my personal makeup artistry account at Justin Time Art. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.